Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Earn YouTube channel. Welcome back for our Premier League predictions for match week 36. We're nearly there, nearly at the end of the season now. And I've got to be honest, I've recorded this one already, but the footage has corrupted. So we're back for round 2 here. Hopefully this all works out. Looking back to last week, however, in our predictions, we only managed 5 prediction points. And if you're somehow new around here and wondering how our prediction points work, it is 1 point for the correct result, 3 points for the correct scoreline, and 0 points for neither. So that adds to our 210 points we came into last week, match week with, to go 215 across the season so far. So probably trying to get 228 maybe on the year. Maybe that's our goal. And we're credible to get 230 to end the season off. But that's probably our goal for the last 3 match weeks. Some massive games to come this week, and at the top, the bottom, and for European positions. So cannot wait to get into it. Now let's go and preview and break down these Premier League fixtures for match week 36. Our first game kicks off tonight. It's Chelsea hosting Tottenham in an all-London affair. Very interesting game, this one here. Chelsea have put together some solid performances as of recently. Now got 6 games unbeaten at home and came back from 2 goals down to draw against Aston Villa last time out, 2-2. An incredible Conor Gallagher goal in there as well. And I feel like, once again, it will be the midfield and wide players here to be important for Chelsea. They're going to try and get a result here. Look at Gallagher. I look at Caicedo. Look at the wingers, Madueke, Mudryk. These sort of players here, because likely Tottenham will go and play that tough midfield 3 again, Bentancur in that midfield there, alongside Højbjerg, and try and shut out Cole Palmer. So I feel like the other players around Cole Palmer are going to have to be the ones to do most of the grunt work and try and get him free and get him in a shooting position. So can Chelsea do it without their star man being the main focus of attention? That will be the question going to this game here. They're going to be clinical. They're going to have to be more dynamic in their pressing to try and expose Tottenham's high line there and try and get in behind using their pacey wingers. For Tottenham, coming off a difficult 3-2 loss versus Arsenal last time out, if they can bring that same intensity from the first 15 minutes they show against Arsenal and that defensive solidity for the second half onwards and their ability to just nick goals, that'll be important in this game here. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring type game, and I feel like if Tottenham can bring that same intensity they brought to start the game against Arsenal and the second half, feed the ball into the feet of the likes of Kulusevski and Heung-min Son, and allow those fullbacks like Pedro Porro and Udogie to push on, it will overwhelm Chelsea. We know how vulnerable they are at the back, and I think they can get on top here. I think Postecoglou's attacking style of football will work, and as such, I got Tottenham winning this game 3-1. I think Chelsea will take it to Tottenham, but I think Tottenham's overwhelming attacking style of football will finally work and will break Chelsea down here, and as such, the 3-1 win for me. Our next game is massive for the bottom end of the table. It's Luton hosting Everton. Luton obviously coming off a tough 2-1 loss to Wolves. They've been very disappointing in recent weeks. And outside of that comeback win versus Bournemouth, they've only managed their last win to occur in January. So a long time without a win. And I keep saying it feels like the legs are starting to tire here for Luton, and you need some of the big players to stand up. So in this game here, I'm looking at Ross Barkley, Sambi Lokonga, Adebayo and Morris up front to stand up and try and take control of this game here. I think Everton, now that they're safe, it's a chance to get out there. They're a bit more vulnerable. They won't be as diligent, as focused as they have been the last few weeks. And I feel like this game will turn into a battle of the wide areas. Can Doughty and whoever's Hashioka or whoever fills in at right back, can they outperform McNeil and Harrison? Because McNeil and Harrison, I say it most weeks, when they play well, Everton normally play well and win games of football. And we've seen how much they can give this team in terms of creating from wide areas. But in the same regard, Doughty and Hashioka have a great deal to play for Luton because they are a great team, also crossing the ball into the area and getting Carlton Morris and Adebayo on the back of these crosses or pouncing on second balls in the box as well. So whoever dominates the wide areas of this game are likely to win this game. I think for Luton as well, go back to what was serving them well. Start the game on fire, press really high and hard up the pitch nice and early. Try and catch Everton off guard early in this game here and go from there. I think that all being said, I think Luton with more to play for, Everton now being safe and going away to Kenilworth Road. I got Luton winning this game. I got them winning this game 2-1. It's going to be a tight, tough affair, but I think Luton's big stars will get them over the line in the end. Our next game is massive in terms of the title race. It's at the Emirates. It's Arsenal hosting Bournemouth. Arsenal coming off a North London derby 3-2 win over Tottenham. Continue to keep winning in 2024 and remain undefeated in the Premier League in 2024. And once again, I think the foundation for another great result here will be that defence. Limit the mistakes. Raya had a few mistakes second half and obviously gave away a goal and also giving away a penalty second half as well. If you can cut that out of your game, basically perfect versus Tottenham, and you look to have the same sort of mindset and structure once again versus Bournemouth, who are equally as a dangerous team right now in the Premier League. And once again, the goals from corners or set pieces, once again, are standing out. It's a way to break the game open, because if you don't have to score from open play and don't have to try and break down a low block, which you've seen Bayern and Aston Villa produce to great extents in recent weeks, scoring from a set piece or a corner allows the opposition to have to try and go for the game and try and get a goal back themselves, and as such opens up spaces for Saka, for Trossard, for Odegaard and Havertz to operate in. And once again, I think that'll be very important in this game here. Bournemouth are good for scoring set pieces and corners, but not that great defending it. So I think for us, we'll try and expose them in that area of the park as well, and obviously try and prevent them from scoring by having that really solid defence and trying to get them on the counter-attack, because Bournemouth will throw numbers forward. They are also one of the most informed teams, I think, since the turn of the year, third in the Premier League from then onwards behind City and Arsenal. So one of the most informed teams in a great run of form, broken their record points lead for a Premier League season. So Antonio Iraola's side is not afraid to take it to these type of teams. We saw how they've gone to Old Trafford and performed at a high level. They took an attacking and aggressive style of football to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well. And we know they've challenged City and Chelsea throughout the years as well. So they're a really hard team to beat. I think they'll take it to Arsenal. I think people need to give them a bit more respect than what they're giving them this weekend. With it all being said, though, I think Arsenal's overwhelming momentum currently, the form, and they need to keep winning for this title will get them over the line here. For them win this game in a real workmanlike 3-0 type result. The next game is an all-London affair. It's Fulham and Brentford from the G-Tech there. Bit of a dead rubber though, unfortunately. Brentford at home though, one of the last chances to see Tony and Burma and Visser all together. And look to this game here, it's those three versus Muniz, Willian, Dicot over Reid. Whoever can get more chances to this front three is here likely to win the game of football. It's going to be an open type affair with both teams now with nothing really to play for, a back and forth type affair. And I think it'll be really interesting to see that midfield battle as well. Palhinha, Lukic or Reid against that Damsgaard, Janelt type midfield as well. So two workman-like midfields with two talented forward lines as well. With it all being said, I think Fulham with a bit more talent, a bit more just me and my belief in what Fulham can do, I think they'll get over the line here. I think Muniz feeding the ball, he'll score goals and he'll get them over the line. So I've got Fulham winning this game 2-1 in one of the more exciting attacking style of games from the weekend. Our next game is Burnley hosting Newcastle United, and this has a lot of implications for the bottom and also the European qualification positions as well. Burnley is coming off an impressive 1-1 result at Old Trafford, but once again, mistakes giving away a goal and also missing a lot of big chances in the first half. And if you want to beat this informed Newcastle team and you want to keep yourself safe from relegation, you've got to be much better. Limit these mistakes at the back, either dribbling out of the back or playing out of the back, and goalkeeper kicks and mishandles and stuff like that. You've got to cut that out of your game, especially versus Newcastle, as they're so clinical, and also take your opportunities as well. A plethora of opportunities first half versus Manchester United, but they couldn't put in the back of the net, and Newcastle will come and hurt you, and they'll pounce these mistakes here in this game here. So, 5 points in the last 3 games, only beaten once in the last 5 games. Burnley are in good form. You looked at Odegaard, Fofana, Zeki Anduni, as the key players to create things for this side. But I think in the end of the day, it comes down to O'Shea and Esteve at the back. Can these guys be mistake-free? Can they withstand Isaac, Gordon, Barnes in that front three there, even Jacob Murphy? Because these guys are so dynamic and they've been incredible over the last few weeks, especially in that 5-1 win versus Sheffield United. Slow start to the team, but once they got going, these guys are just electric and they're just really hard to stop with their direct running, their pace, and their clinical nature in front of goal. I think that'll be the difference in this game here. The clinical nature in front of goal that Newcastle have and the dynamism in the final third will just be the difference. It'll be too much for that Burnley backline to handle. And when you've got Bruno Guimaraes in that midfield there, he'll be pulling the strings quite well. And I think Newcastle get out of this game with a comfortable 3-0 win for me, despite all of Burnley's efforts to try and stay up and compete in this game here. Our next games, he's newly relegated Sheffield United hosting Nottingham Forest. Sheffield United now obviously confirmed going down after that loss versus Newcastle on the weekend. But they've been a fast starting side, so Nottingham Forest have got to worry about that. I think for Sheffield United, it's a chance for these bigger players like Gustavo Harmer, Cameron Archer, alongside Ben Brereton, Diaz. These are the guys to try and play for a contract next season. Will big clubs go after them if they can perform here? I think some clubs will look after them in terms of getting them a good deal and getting them across to a Premier League club, because these sort of players could be some important depth for some Premier League teams across the division and also those coming up from the Championship. So it's a chance for them to show what they're all about. And for Forest, it's a massive opportunity here to get a massive 3 points and put a gap between yourself and the bottom three there. 1 point is looking really dodgy at the current point in time. And despite the good football they've played, they haven't quite got the results. City, they were quite good last time out in that 2-0 loss. But again, not taking a chances. Chris Wood missing opportunities. And easy ones at that. And throughout the season, Anthony Elanga missing opportunities as well. So I look towards Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Elanga, Hudson-Odoi and Wood. Be clinical with the opportunities. Play with pace. Play like you always do. Try and win the ball up high up the pitch and play and try and get over the top of this defence and expose them with your pace and your width. If they can go score a goal early, that'd be massive for them. But I think as the game goes deeper, if the Blades can keep holding on here or even nick a goal early or first, it's going to cause a lot of problems for Forest. They'll have to throw more numbers forward, and we know that can be a dangerous type of strategy. So I think for them, score early, play with pace, and put the ball in the back of the net when you give them the opportunity. That's going to be the difference here. With that all being said, I think it'll be a tough old scrap for Forest, despite Sheffield United being relegated. These are the type of banana skin type games you can slip up on. But I think they'll just get a line here with a 2-0 win, and add to a bit of a gap there between them, Luton, and Burnley. Our next game is a bit of a slam dunk. It's Manchester City hosting Wolves. And despite Wolves doing so well in the reverse fixture early to start the season off and coming off a win versus Luton, Man City just too good at home. And they're in that end of season robotic type form, coming off that 2-0 win versus Forest. Right now it feels like the Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Julian Alvarez, Erling Haaland, just to name a few. One or two of these players will turn up in these big games here and get over the line. That's what City do. They're almost in that mould right now. They just keep winning games of football. Pep even said it. To win the league, they have to win every single game left this season. And when you're at home as Manchester City at the end of the season, it's almost impossible to beat them. Rodri's still yet to lose a game of football. If he plays, it's almost a certified win for Man City here. And that's why I've gone with a quite convincing 5-0 win. I've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games. The defence is firing. There's goals in that front line. I think another easy win for Man City at home. Our next game, an all-London affair. Chelsea's second game of the week, hosting West Ham. A very interesting game here. I think Chelsea, I'll give them a lot more chance here versus West Ham to play with their more dynamic type players, try and stretch this West Ham team and put this West Ham backline under pressure, because that backline is faltering under a lot of pressure this season, hasn't quite been at its best in the last month or so. So I think for Chelsea, get the ball in the feet of Cole Palmer and get the ball into wide areas and try and expose the lack of pace in this West Ham backline here. And also try and control possession. Caicedo, Gallagher in midfield, and even playing out of the back. Try and keep the ball at your feet, because when the ball's away from the likes of Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, you're limiting West Ham's ability to go and score a goal against you. So I think controlling possession and playing with pace will be the keys here for Chelsea. Cole Palmer, I think, will be obviously once again massive, trying to rip this game apart for Chelsea. In terms of West Ham, they come off that 2-2 draw to Liverpool, which is impressive in parts, but disappointing in parts also. It's very clear to see when West Ham go and take it to teams, they look very, very good. When they're playing in the front foot, getting the ball into the feet of these skillful players like Kudus, like Paqueta, like Bowen, Mikel Antonio to a lesser degree as well. That's when West Ham look at their best. So I think if they go in and take the game to Chelsea, we know how vulnerable Chelsea can also be defensively. We could see some goals, and as such, I've got this being a high-scoring type affair. I just think West Ham haven't quite got the quality right now, and that pragmatic style of football isn't going to play to their advantage here versus Chelsea. I've got Chelsea winning this game 3-1 at home and keeping their slim chances of some European football alive this season. Our next game is on the South Coast. It's Brighton hosting Aston Villa. And unfortunately, see this one also being a bit of a slam dunk. Brighton with nothing to play for this season now, and their form in recent weeks has been just awful. They come off that 3-0 loss to Bournemouth. They're without a win in 6 games and haven't seen a real solid performance in a long time from this Brighton side. They're lacking that continuity, they're lacking that real possession control in games, and they're lacking the ability to create chances. And find a way to break down defenses at the current point in time. It seems all over the place. It seems like a basket case, and it feels like they're just trying to get to the end of the season to start again. Whilst Villa, obviously, they're coming off that Conference League tie that will go out, that will be played the night this video goes out. But again, we've seen they've been able to turn around and produce good performances almost all the time on those Sundays. So it might take 10 to 15 minutes for them to get their feet wet and just get into the game. But if they play with that high intensity, high pace style of football, which they have done throughout this season, I think they'll expose Brighton here, which are a little bit all over the place with a lot of rotational type players at the current point in time. I look to the likes of Yuri Tielemans, who stood up with some midfield absences recently to try and not only defend and break the play up in deep line positions, but also create from deep line positions as well. We've seen some of his great passes, defence-splitting balls, and the pace he instills in this Villa side has been so important. And then also Morgan Rogers coming from that left-hand attacking midfield position, supporting the front two in Bailey and Watkins, and being that real goal threat if the ball doesn't end up at those two guys' feet. I think those two players are the big players for me to try and break this game apart. I think once one goal goes in for Villa, it could be downhill skiing for them. I think Brighton right now are truly on the beach, not really at the races right now. So as such, I've got Villa winning this game 4-0. That seems like a lot of goals, but I think Villa right now are firing and Brighton are nowhere near their best. The penultimate game of the match week sees Liverpool host Tottenham. Liverpool's title charge all but done now. 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses in their last 4 games. Really poor type performances, losing that clinical edge in the final third. They've lost that defensive security as well. And just feels like, once again, like Luton, their legs have gone, Liverpool. Their energy's sapped, emotionally, physically, the lot. They've just been drained at the moment. And it feels like you can see it in the players' faces that there's no clinical edge in the final third. They're not putting their chances away, whether it be Nunes, whether it be Salah, whether it be Diaz, Gakpo. No one can put the ball in the back of the net. And defensively as well, conceding chances from corners, looking all at sea in midfield. It just feels like it's all sort of falling apart here. But I think at Anfield, at least they'll try and give it a crack. The crowd will get right behind this team. And I think in this game here, it's going to have to be an Endo McAllister type masterclass to keep up with the pace of Tottenham. As I said in that previous Tottenham preview versus Chelsea, the Bentancur and Højbjerg combination has been used recently. I think they'll continue to use that as the season comes to an end for more work on like robust midfield that can have the energy to keep running back and forth throughout that game there. So you're going to need Endo McAllister to hopefully break up the play, try and slow the game down because Tottenham will want to play at pace. And I think Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Son, Richarlison, all these guys, they're going to want to use their pace to try and expose Liverpool throwing numbers forward and throwing the fullbacks forward and trying to exploit Liverpool by using their width and using the high pace and high intensity football that they play with. Because I think if Tottenham have the game in control in terms of they can control the pace of the game, I think I can see them winning this. If Liverpool can manage the game, manage momentum, can put their chances away, it's going to be quite an interesting affair. And as such, I see there being goals in this game. There's always goals in Tottenham games. I've gone with a 2-2 draw. I think both teams will stand their authority at different points in the game, but not quite had that edge to get over the line and get 3 points here. Our final game of the game week is in London. It's Crystal Palace hosting Manchester United. And Crystal Palace continue to look like the team in form in the Premier League right now. Oliver Glasner's got his side playing this very high intensity, high energy, pressing, high pace style of football at the moment. And at home, you know that crowd's going to get right behind them. So with Eze and Elise, they're likely to be reunited once again back up top alongside Mateta and Wharton and Hughes in that midfield there. You know they're going to cause chaos for Manchester United. You know, that United defence, which is all over the place with no real midfield control and structure. I think Crystal Palace have a field day here. And if they bring that same intensity which they brought to the Fulham game in the first half an hour, where they're pressing hard up the pitch, locking Fulham in their own half, creating repeat opportunities, I'm sure they'll blow United out the park. So once again, a big emphasis on Wharton and Hughes in that midfield there to bring the intensity, to bring the energy for Crystal Palace. And then on Mateta, Eze and Elise to keep creating chances and trying to expose this really makeshift and dodgy United defence. For Manchester United coming off that 1-1 disappointing draw to Burnley, once again dropping more points at home, once again dropping points from winning positions. It just seems like this team's all over the place right now. It's Bruno Fernandes or bust. He looks at that midfield there, Kobbie Mainoo and Christian Eriksen. There's a lack of real defensive identity there. They don't run back and cover defensively quite well. And the backline, Casemiro in awful form alongside Harry Maguire is trying his best, but there's just not enough pace and quality in that backline right now. So if Crystal Palace get a stronger hold of this game, they will dominate it. I think for Manchester United, it's Bruno Fernandes and also trying to find Højlund and Garnacho with any opportunity possible, because when the ball's at these kids' feet, they normally create things and make things happen, but they haven't been fed enough chances this season. So Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho and Højlund for Manchester United, they have to stand up and produce a strong performance, but I just don't see them doing that against the high pressing, high energy Oliver Glasner, Crystal Palace at the moment. That all being said, with the home crowd behind them, I've got them winning this game 3-1. We know how United fold under a bit of pressure. We know how United have folded at Selhurst Park in the past few years, and I think Crystal Palace will get a massive win here to keep pushing them towards that mid-table finish at the end of the season. With that all being said, ladies and gents, that brings my prediction video to an end for match week 36. We're getting really, really close to the end of the season here. Let's see if I can add some few more of my prediction points to our current total. Let me know what you think of my predictions in the comments section down below. How do you think the weekend's going to run? Who will end the weekend on top of the Premier League? How does a relegation battle shape up here with Forest, Burnley and Luton all having massive games on the weekend? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please sort of smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel, and press that post notification bell so you know when I upload these prediction videos, the podcast, reaction videos, and also the analysis type videos that are all going to live here on the Players Zone channel. And we've got so much more to come with the Euros and Copa America coming up in the summer. Cannot wait for those things. Cannot wait for the end of the Premier League season as well. We've still got a lot to be excited for here in the Premier League. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, ladies and gents. Enjoy the weekend's football action. And I'll see you guys in a video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.